Hey guys, we're here with Justin Ford, Glover U coach and also top producer, and we wanted to put this together to give you an idea of what Justin is up to, why anybody would consider working with Justin, coaching with Justin, and of course, learning and growing their business from Justin. So Justin, why don't you start off with sharing us kind of your backstory? I think it helps if people know how much time we've had to spend together, what you've learned through that process. So take us back to kind of day one in the real estate business.
Yeah, so I'll just say day one in the real estate industry.
Sure.
And I started in mortgages back in 2005.
Okay.
Right? I got in when anybody could get in.
Yep.
And, there was a wave that everybody was riding.
Yep.
I got in and, it was my first introduction to business. I was working a job before that and saw how much potential there was. I started making calls at this mortgage office, setting appointments for refinances. Did really well, went from basically six figures to no figures overnight, and the market crashed.
Yep.
And
like many people.
Yeah. But I had a taste of the market, right? I had a taste of commission sales, and I was really excited about it. And so went into helping people with short sales and loan modifications, and then that changed.
Yep.
And then many people recommended I should just get my real estate license.
Yeah.
Because I was already working within the industry, already working with real estate agents.
Makes sense.
Yep. And my wife and I kind of prayed about it. We were looking at who we were going to join in real estate. And obviously you and I had some interactions previous and even talked about me getting into real estate. Just wasn't ready for it. And we decided to join your company. And so we met. And I remember coming on the interview, I thought, joining real estate was all about, selling a ton of homes, making a lot of money.
Yep.
And I remember being in your office that day, and you just kind of told me about your process and how it's a lot different than traditional real estate companies. And I remember you said, hey, we put you on the phones for 90 to 120 days. We're going to teach you how to prospect. We're going to teach you how to call for sale by owners. We're going to teach you how to call expireds. And honestly, I thought that you were hiring me to be a telemarketer.
Yeah.
And I remember kind of feeling that when I was meeting with you, and you're like, oh, by the way, I can only pay you $1,000 a month draw. And just a few months previous, we just had our fourth child, and I'm thinking, how can we as a family of six survive off of $1,000?
Yep.
And I left, right? We left that appointment. You said to get back to you. And I remember going home discouraged, and there's no way this is going to work, right?
Yeah.
But my mentor at the time, he said, well, did you ask Jeff, what you needed in order to come? Because I wanted to work with you.
Yeah.
I just didn't see how it was possible.
With the financial arrangement.
Yeah, there's just no way. And I didn't want to be a telemarketer either.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So he said, you know what? You need to ask him for what you want. And I remember sitting down at my computer, sending you an email and saying, can I at least get 2,000? And I know at the time you had not done that for anybody else. And so you said, yeah, let's get back together and talk about it. And so I met with you, and you kind of laid it out, and you said, Justin, if you follow this process, you'll be really successful, and it's going to feel like you're taking a step back, but if you follow this process, you're going to be really successful. And you said, trust me. If you trust me, you'll do well. And so I decided to join the company. You honored the 2,000. Yep. We did a week of training, going through learning stuff on video and stuff like that. And then I remember day one. It was the day to start making calls. Was given a desk, given a phone, given some leads, and say, go get it. And I remember 45 minutes into calling, I'm like, this sucks. And I almost quit. I almost quit because I didn't want to be a telemarketer. Rejection, calling, people hanging up on you. I wanted to be a real estate agent. But I remember in that moment.
Because that's not what they show on TV.
That's not what they show on TV.
Right.
But I remember in that moment looking up at the sales board that you have in your office, seeing all the listings, all of the sales, the commission checks, and I'm like, you know what? If this leads to that, then you know what? I need to make a decision and go all in. And I did. And after being an ISA for 90 days, I came out of the ISA program, and I remember being at a conference with you, and everybody was challenged, how many homes are you going to sell this year, right? And it was in January, and my goal was to sell 100 homes in my first 12 months in the business. And I came back coming out as an outside sales agent. Took 30 listings my first month in the business, 33 listings my second month, put 9 under contract, took 100 listings my first 6 months, and from my first closing to 12 months, I sold 100 homes.
And at that point in your career, everyone was like, okay, come on, that's not realistic. That goal's way too high. Right?
Everybody said that. You were the only one at that time that had ever sold 100 homes, and I don't know outside of you if anybody's ever done that before. But I believed I could, and it didn't matter what anybody else believed. And I shared that, many times, as I say, it doesn't matter what anybody else believes about you. If you believe you can, that's all that matters. And I did.
Love that. So you went on to obviously become our Rookie of the Year, Top Producer Award winner, all of the great accolades.
First time anybody's ever done that.
Yep, that's right.
Yep.
I know you love pointing that out.
Yep.
And then I tapped you on the shoulder and said, hey, let's start developing your leadership skills,
Yep.
and let's get you some extra income, and also you can continue selling real estate.
Yep.
And so then what happened?
So then you promoted me to the inside sales manager. And so basically taking everything that I was doing and I had learned from you
Yep.
and teaching all of the incoming agents, because everybody had to start in that position. And that's one thing that I really respected about you, was nobody had a free pass.
Yeah.
Didn't matter how experienced they were,
Yep.
didn't matter how much business they were doing. Everybody had to start at that same place.
Yep.
And I think that kept the culture great, because if anybody had a free pass, it would make other people,
Why didn't I get that?
yeah, why didn't I get that? And so I had the opportunity to, every agent that came through the door, basically train them and teach them the same process that you taught me
Yep.
on how to win with for sale by owners and expireds,
Yep.
which was awesome.
Love that.
Yeah.
So we would hire an inside sales associate and essentially give them to you to train.
Yep.
And so during your time as our inside sales manager, you were a producing real estate agent, you were also prospecting for your own business,
Yep.
and you were teaching others how to prospect.
Yes, sir.
All right. And you had great success with that and
Yep.
just made the decision to, like many people, go on my own, have my own brokerage. Tell us about that experience.
So one thing that you always said, and you know, I think when you're a leader and you have vision, you wanna go out and do something. I think sometimes you need to prove it to yourself.
Yep.
You always used to say it's very hard to produce at a high level and run a brokerage or a team.
Yep.
Because one of them is going to lose, you know, what you're giving
Your
to
energy,
it. Yeah, your
your
energy,
focus.
your
Yep,
focus.
that's right.
And so, you know, I left on good terms because I've always respected you. I wasn't going to be the guy to say, screw you, I'm going to go do this on my own.
Yep.
But, you know, I left on a good note, and I says, you know what, I have to go do this, right? And so started my own independent company, and, you know, after several years of doing that, I realized it's not what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't want to be a manager.
Sure.
I didn't want to be the one responsible,
Yep.
you know, for the business, you know, training agents, doing this, doing that. And my production, you know, went way down.
Yeah.
Because like you
Your
said.
focus shifts.
Yeah. And so after.
And there's usually more money in sales than there is
way
managing
more.
people, right?
And honestly, in the 4 years that I had my own independent brokerage, I never took a check for myself.
Wow.
Not one time.
Yeah.
And so there was like this aha moment, and I said, why aren't I selling? And what would it look like if I got back into full-time sales, making more commission on my own?
Yep.
What would that look like?
Yep.
And at the end of 2018, I made a decision to go all in back into selling real estate. And in January of 2019, I came to my first Glover U event.
Yep.
So
we had still stayed in contact,
Yeah,
but for the
yeah.
most part, we weren't really seeing each other face to face or
Right.
anything like that. This was, in fact, if I remember, I was even kind of like pleasantly surprised to see you there. Like, all right, this is
Yep.
great. Like,
Yeah.
isn't it amazing how, you know, the world brings us back together again,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So,
And so at that event, I just realized what I was missing, and it was being plugged back in, being connected to you, being connected to a system and a process that I could follow, because I wasn't. Nobody was holding me accountable.
you're on your own, doing
I
your
was
own
on
thing.
my own, doing my own thing, and there were many great things that I heard in that session over 3 days that were just light bulbs. And I knew exactly what I needed to do. I immediately signed up for coaching. Even before I talked to my wife, I said, I don't care, I'm going to the back of the room. I have to do this.
Yep.
And I went from doing 5.8 million in 2018 to 15 million
In 1 year.
in 1 year, and then last year did 31 million. So in 2 years, I went from 5.8 million to 31 million.
Obviously, it's more than just hiring a coach.
Right.
But when you think about what you gained by having a coach, what were some of the things that
Yeah.
helped you go from 5 to 15
Yeah.
to now 30?
It was accountability. I knew what I needed to do because I learned that when I was with you, but I didn't have anybody holding me accountable to it. And, you know, when I hired Kate to be my coach, you know, she said, Justin, what is your goal for this year? I said, I want to do 10 million. And she even said, what do you have to do every single day to accomplish that goal? I said, I need to be on the phones every day. Because when I was independent, I would prospect a couple days a week, but it was nothing consistent.
No, because it's not in your environment.
Right.
Nobody else in your office is doing
Nobody
it.
else is doing it.
Nobody's telling you should do it.
Right.
You know, it's just an afterthought
Yep.
almost.
And so Kate said, okay, just like you've talked about, she says, what's the penalty if you don't do it? And I had to think about that. And I was really serious. So I took some time to really figure out what is going to hurt bad enough if I don't do what I need to do to hit my goal.
Sure.
And so I gave her my credit card number, and I said, Kate, I give you permission to charge my credit card and make a $100 donation to this specific nonprofit organization that I would never support in my life.
So it's painful.
Very painful. And I said, Kate, if I don't show up, and she's like, okay, Justin, every morning by 8 a.m. you have to be in your office, not at home, not in the car, in the office with your headset on, logged into your dialer, making calls. I never had to make the $100 donation. And by having that accountability and that structure, to me, that was what was missing in my life. Yeah.
Love that. So fast forward to now. If I'm watching this video, I might be considering hiring you as a coach or joining your prospecting bootcamp program, which by now, if you haven't figured out why he's in charge of it, I think you have a pretty good idea of why Justin's our guy for this. So fast forward to today. Now you're leading the prospecting bootcamp, which is one of our most successful programs. You consistently have 50, 75, close to 100 people sign up for it at any given time. What am I going to learn if I go through that program, and why would I take that program?
Yeah. So the prospecting bootcamp is a 16 session or 16-week program where people, and I actually had a lady stop me. She's like, Justin, I know that most people think prospecting is just expireds and for sale by owners. Cold calling, but there's a lot of different ways to generate leads. And we cover every aspect of how to go out and generate business. And she told me today, she says, I've got 10 new listings getting ready to come to market, and it's all because of being in your program. She told me this today.
Yeah, just now.
And she said, but I'm not doing so much the expireds and the for sale by owners, but I'm doing other things that you taught me. And I think a lot of times people think that prospecting is just making cold calls.
Cold calls, yep.
So we cover, how to call for sale by owners, how to call expireds, the scripts, the dialogues, the objection handlers, door knocking, just listed, just sold, social media, database,
buyer leads.
Buyer leads. We also talk about, the personality styles. There's so much that we cover. And really what I'm doing is I'm taking the same stuff that you taught me, and we're opening up the toolbox, and we're giving all the tools, all the resources, everything that someone needs to succeed on the listing side of the business.
Love that. And it's 16 weeks.
16 weeks.
Very reasonable. $299 a month for 16 weeks. So basically $299 for four months. And probably if somebody I know you have repeat people taking it over and over because it's that accountability that you got from Kate. It's the same thing for them.
Same thing.
Which is another piece of the program. It's not just all skills and scripts. There is an accountability piece to that. Can you share that?
Absolutely. And I even challenge people, and I say, listen, if you're really serious about this, I've got several people in the class right now that message me every day at 8 a.m. just like Kate did. One girl actually, and I didn't even ask for it, she says, here's my credit card. If I don't show up, charge $1,000 to this organization. And not that that's required, because it's not, but people that want that extra layer of accountability, they take that really serious. And so the accountability aspect of showing up, we know who's there and we know who's not there. The initial call, we're like, what are your goals? Why are you taking this class? What is your why? We talk about what are some of the obstacles or distractions that are going to pop up along the way. So what's going to, because they pop up, right? For all of us. And so we go through that, and I have them email me that, and then I respond to their email. So when they're not showing up for class, or they're missing, let's say, for a couple of weeks, I'm emailing them back. Are you still committed? Do you still really want your goals and your why to come to pass?
Just another layer of accountability, which most agents aren't getting from their office or their team or their brokerage.
Absolutely.
So why should I, if I'm considering working with you either as a one-on-one or in a boot camp or in a group coaching program, why should I coach with you?
So what it comes down to is, if you want to succeed in real estate, you need a coach, right? And the thing that I specialize in, because everybody has their thing, is I know how to teach people, right? I know how to teach agents how to prospect, how to go out and get leads, how to create more listing opportunities. And I always say this, and even for the cost of the program, we're talking $1,200, right? I tell everybody in our class, and I guarantee this, and I say, listen, if you show up and you do every single thing I teach you, and you follow this process, I guarantee you that you'll make more than the $1,200 you invest. And really, for me, I also believe that you should.
For many of them, by the way, 10 times the $1,200.
Way more.
In 1
That's
year.
At the minimum, right? Because it's an investment. It's not a cost. And everybody that has taken my class or takes it, and they follow it, they're like, Justin, I'm taking 3, 5, 6 listings per month. But why coach with me? I think it's important when you hire a coach, and Jeff, you always talk about this. We're on the ground with those that
Bingo.
that we work with, those that coach with us. We're not the guy who said, "Hey, 5 years ago I did this."
Yeah. So you're not sharing per se what you taught our ISAs 6 years ago when you were the ISM, the inside sales manager. You're making calls alongside the clients that are in prospecting boot camp.
Absolutely, and I consistently take 10 to 15 listings a month even now, and so I'm on the ground, with the agents. I'm sharing even what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So
hey guys, just got off a phone call, and here's what happened.
We every class. What are your wins from last week? What's a win or a takeaway that you've been able to? And I share mine. So I'm in there with them, and I think if someone's going to pick a coach, you have to follow someone who's doing what you want, that has the results that you're looking for. There's too many coaches in this business, and you say it, right? They take the label coach just because they had one good year, and now they don't even sell anymore because they're focused on coaching.
Awesome. Well, anything else you want to add to that, Justin?
No, I just excited to be here and have the opportunity to be a part of the Glover U organization.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being with me today.
Jeff.
And I think now you know why we have Justin Ford as our prospecting boot camping coach. And you've got a great opportunity to learn from someone who has not only learned from me, but he's doing it himself, and he's doing it at a very high level. So thanks again, Justin.
Thanks, Jeff.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Yep.